Up Kilkenny.
Kilkenny.
Boo Tip.
Bip.
Boo Cork.
Bugok.
Up Kilkenny.
Up Kilkenny.
Yeah, that is the sounds of Brett's Hardware in Kilkenny. The Boo Cork is my favourite part about it, Adrian. You are welcome to our lockdown lowdown, by the way, where we go through some of the best things from social media. I didn't realise that that's something, okay, as somebody from Kerry, perhaps, I've got a bit of a warmth for anybody who says Boo Cork, but that is the best sounding thing I've ever heard, a baby saying Boo Cork.
The concern that I have off the back of all of this is the amount of time that all of us parents are getting to spend with our children, and like the best thing that they've had up to this point, I can only speak for myself, is the lack of exposure to me that probably have them on the straight and narrow. But you got to get inventive and creative, and God knows what sort of biases, subconscious and otherwise, that we're going to leave them without the other side. But that's a cracker of a bit of sweet content there on.
Yeah, that homeschooling dad, one of the stars of yesterday. But for me, the stars of yesterday were the friends of Katie, who turned 12. It was her birthday yesterday, and of course, with social distancing, she couldn't have a birthday party. But this happened.
Who's that?
Happy birthday, Katie.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Simone. Thanks. Thanks, Simone. Oh, look at the roll in the window of the car. Thanks very much. Bye, Sophie. Happy birthday. Thanks, Deborah.
Wave it, everyone.
Thanks, McDonald's. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that was Katie's 12th birthday yesterday. The girl with the big happy birthday sign through the sunroof. The hero we need, but not the one we deserve, in my opinion. Absolutely fantastic stuff.
It's class. The level of coordination that requires from people who are obviously living on top of each other, probably over the previous 3 or 4 days, to get that number of cars. Like, the thing about Dunfer, but a minute and 40 seconds of constant traffic passing by the gateway. Absolutely class. So fair play to Katie's parents there for organising that one. Padraig Harrington owns one that's been jumped up for me. I'm sure you've been following this. I'm sure everybody's been looking at it. Little golf tips that he's been doing. Absolutely brilliant, right? Like, the access to that level of detail from one of the great hive minds of golf at the minute. They are unbelievable little pieces of wisdom, great little nuggets. But for God's sake, Paddy Harrington, will you put some trousers on? I don't know if people were looking at the latest one yesterday, but I think we can take a look at it here. He's been out sort of doing a bit of chipping and giving people some helpful tips in his shorts.
Okay, today we're going to cover chipping from the rough. Technique is the exact same as we talked about earlier with put your alignment stick behind the ball so you're always out in front, you keep your weight on the left hand side, you're never backing up into your right side. So once you've got your technique right, then you hear this put out there a lot, try and play it like a bunker shot, try and hit 2 inches behind the ball. That's rubbish. If you try and hit 2 inches behind the ball in the rough, there's so much rough there you'll probably end up starting hitting the grass 6 inches behind, which is far too much. Try and hit the ball cleanly, but realise and understand that that's never going to happen, that it's going to come out softer with some grass between the face and the ball, and that all depends on what type of grass you're playing out. So I've set up 3 different lies here. First of all, I've put a neutral lie where the grass is all growing straight up, the ball's sitting in there. That will just come out dead. You got to hit it a little bit harder, but you do try and hit the ball first. Then I've put a lie where the grass is running towards the hole, towards the direction I'm going. That's going to come out very quick. Same length grass here, I've just stood it down. And then lastly, you have the grass growing away from the hole. So if people were walking off the back of the green and it's lying away, now that's the dangerous one. You're going to actually, even though that looks like a reasonable lie, you're going to have to hit that one pretty hard, because a lot of that grass is going to stand up and get between the ball and the hole. Okay, so let's show it. So I'm going to hit this one neutral. I'm going to stay on my left-hand side. Yes, I'm going to have to hit it a little harder, just like so. Went for a bit safety. This is a tough chip shot. This one, the grass is going with me, so the ball will actually come out quite quick. I didn't even have to hit that anywhere near as hard. Okay. Again, you will still see on that one, even though the grass was with me, there's still grass on the club face. So there was definitely grass between the ball and the club face. But I was trying to hit it clean. And lastly, you got the grass against me, and I'm going to have to hit that one quite hard. And you can see a big chunk of grass got it up in the air. That's the one that's difficult when the grass is growing against you.
Like, brilliant, excellent tips from Paddy Harrington. I almost didn't hear anything he said. I was so distracted by his legs. Like, just put them away, Paddy.
What's your issue with his shorts?
It's like your teacher wearing when you see them wearing a pair of shorts, you're like, just not right. Like, and maybe it's also the type, but he's wearing those sort of American style baggy, almost basketball-ish shorts. Just put the legs away. Like, I know the weather is good and all, but nobody needs to see it.
I say ignore everything Adrian Barry says. Sun's out, legs out. I said sun's out, guns out yesterday. This is just getting too much. This weather is actually just going to my head. We mentioned that Brett's Hardware and that teaching his kids how to say boo Cork was the homeschooling moment of the week, but it does have a close contender. Dara, Briain on Twitter over the last couple of days has been telling us about this robot homeschooler who is my favourite homeschooler in the entire world. He was like, some of you will have seen this, which I posted yesterday, of a wildly inappropriate question in an online grammar lesson for 8-year-olds. And one of the examples was, use commas to punctuate this sentence. After a hard day at the office, I like to relax with a large gin. The comma, of course, it goes after the office, I assume. I'm not sure. I was going to fill in these myself just to work on my own grammar, but didn't get around to it yesterday. And then O'Brien says, from 3 questions down, more insight into somebody's internal life. Use commas to punctuate this sentence. I advise you, said the teacher, not to cross me again today. And then Dara says, before we judge, it appears it has been a tough year. Use commas to punctuate this sentence. Paulina, his wife of many years, had decided to go and live in Greece. And then number 8, use commas to punctuate this sentence. We go to Blackpool for the cuisine, not the weather. That one I think is the toughest one. Hard to actually see where he put the commas in that one. But I'll get cracking on that over the weekend.
Yeah, I presume it's after the cuisine. The most worrying thing about for me on that gin one is, like, I like to relax with a large gin.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with relaxing. I just have visions in my head of kids watching this, or kids carrying out these exercises and then becoming like the baby Carlos from The Hangover. You know, the scene where he's like wearing the sunglasses and he's smoking a cigarette when he's in Zach Galifianakis's thing that he holds a baby. And I'm like, are all kids just going to be sitting there with like a big goblet of gin after completing these sentences? I sure hope so, for comic effect.
I mean, more like surely a gin and tonic, like a large gin, baby Carlos. Not even baby Carlos will be getting stuck into that. That's
no, listen, straight gin all the way in these trying times, Adrian.
It would want to be good stuff. One slightly less comical thing that we wanted to point out that we came across.
No, this is very comical.
Yeah, well, maybe there's an element of that inside the game. Inside the Games, DAP is a really good source of information when it comes to athletics and track and field in general. This is a story here by Daniel Etchels about the Russian 2-time Olympic gold medal winning gymnast Svetlana Krukina. Some people rate her as the greatest of all time, right? She's about to go down in your estimation, hopefully, off the back of what we're going to tell you. She's been talking about the Russian ban, obviously, post from WADA deciding that they shouldn't be present at Tokyo 2020, obviously for various reasons of stretching the rules and regulations of doping. And so they've decided, obviously, that they weren't going to partake. So anyway, Svetlana decided that, you know, with everything going on, the best thing that she could do is weigh into the current global pandemic that's going to kill potentially thousands and maybe tens of thousands of people around the globe with the following, that I think it's all happened now because they shouldn't have offended Russia, including our athletes. There is a reason why there's a line in our national anthem, she says, that says our land is protected by the Lord. It was unnecessary to start this political show when such a deadly virus is being spread all over the world. I think this was God's punishment. Like, obviously there was several expletives that when I saw that the first time that I would love to repeat now, but I'll refrain from, other than to say, like, what is going on in this woman's head? Like, with everything that's going on at the minute, she's using this as an opportunity to blast WADA and Olympic chiefs about the idea that Russia aren't going to be invited to the Olympic Games. Like, it just makes no sense whatsoever.
Maybe WADA should have considered the line in the national anthem that says Russia's land was protected by our Lord before they banned them, Adrian.
I mean, I'd like to have a look at that national anthem on and see how much more of it and all the other national anthems around the world that we should be taking literally. It's just absolutely ludicrous. And Svetlana would do better than to open her gob the next time and have a little bit of a think about what she's saying.
Let's move on to Mark in Bangkok at Thai Spicy Channel. Now, unfortunately, Mark in Bangkok and his fiancée have had a tough couple of weeks because their wedding has been postponed for obvious reasons. They therefore had 115 chocolate lint bunnies as wedding favours. Time for a bunny wedding, of course. And as you can see, the images here, they've created a lint bunny rabbit wedding, complete with the veil for the soon-to-be wife of the other bunny rabbit there at the front. And as you can see, a little piece of paper folded for the priest at the top. And you got 2 little rings as well up on the altar. Absolutely top class. If you've got any spare lint bunnies, this is clearly the only course of action in the future. Yeah,
I do like the priest there. Is it a priest, do you think, or is it a humanist celebrant? Hard to tell.
It is. It's hard to know from the facial expression or from the get-up. There is kind of like a haunting nature to the fact that everybody looks the same in the crowd. Is it like one massive family, a lot of twins? Like, I guess rabbits are known for reproducing at a very rapid rate. So for
they probably went into that room. There was probably only 10 rabbits in the room to begin with when they went in for the ceremony, to be honest.
Exactly. It's not a great place to be, being a rabbit and trying to get invites for weddings, because really it's only immediate family who get invites by the look of things. One final thing we just want to wrap up on is James Blunt, who tweeted this a couple of days ago, saying, during lockdown, while many other artists are doing mini concerts from their homes, I thought I'd do you all a favour and not. This is the big shame. We're not going to be able to properly celebrate the 15th anniversary of You're Beautiful by James Blunt because we're all going to be locked in our houses next month. I checked it this morning. It was May 2005 when our lives changed for the better.
I'm loving it from James Blunt. Right, it is just kind of 8:15 on this Friday morning. Keith Andrews is going to join us next on OTB AM. First, let's hear from last night's football show where the lads brought you an episode of the Classic Game Club, the latest instalment. Nathan, Phil and Stephen Doyle looking back at Liverpool's 5-0 thumping of Nottingham Forest in 1988.